All right, so today we're here to talk about websites. So let's start with a question. Why should you devote time and resources to building or improving a website? And the answer is because that's where your customers are looking. 69% of people search online for a local business every month. Word of mouth and traditional advertising certainly have their place. But today, when your organization is online, you open up new opportunities and create huge potential for people to find your business. And yet, nearly half of small businesses don't have a website. The missed opportunity, the lost revenue is enormous. Once upon a time, having a storefront or business cards were signals that your business is legitimized. Today, an online presence is not only appreciated, but expected. If people search online for your business and can't find it, they're likely to question if your business is still around or if it even exists at all. So today we'll be covering some website basics, 5 essential pages, questions your homepage should answer, tips for using images, and finally, platform options. Up first is Katrine with the basics of getting your website registered.
Yes. So if we take a look when you what the screen might look like, you up in the very top of your browser, you are going to see what we call a URL, and that is the domain name. And that's what you as a business owner need to go and register. I do suggest, especially if you're in Florida, we have something called Sunbiz, where you go in and register your company. I suggest you get that first, or that you try a domain name, because when you're going to get a domain name, one of the places you can get that is GoDaddy. You can go in and start trying different domain names and see if they're available. And then you might want to slightly adjust how you have your domain name registered with Sunbiz. Maybe there is just a change of how you have words in the name. But just in general, I suggest you have a domain name that is close to your company's name, and if possible, somehow describe what you are doing as a business. Here is when you have your domain names, that in our case is easymarketing.com, which I think should show what we are doing. Easy is making things easy. The spelling is just a different way of spelling it in order to get that domain name, but it surely shows what we do as the company here. And when you get your domain name, then you get an email address. If you have joined us for any of our email marketing sessions, you know we talked about importance of not using a Gmail, Yahoo, or AOL address for your business. You need one with your domain name. And when you first get started, you might get your domain name and get an email address with your name. Mine is Katrine at Easy Marketing. Chloe's is Chloe at Easy Marketing. But some organizations have info or president or whatever works best for your organization. You might want to go out and get your domain name first to get an email address, because that's where you sign up for all the services you need. And then you get going on your website.
Thank you, Katrine. So once you have your domain registered, it's time to start thinking about the content. And every good website starts with 5 essential pages. And they are the home page, about page, products or service page, blog or news page, and a contact page. So let's look at each of those in detail. The most important page on your website is your home page. Think of this as your digital lobby, the place every customer must pass through to interact with your business. And it's going to make an immediate first impression. When people come to your homepage, you have less than 10 seconds for them to decide if your content is relevant, reliable, and meets their needs. If not, they will leave without viewing other pages or taking any action, which we call a bounce. When calculated as a percentage of visitors, it's known as the bounce rate, and lower is better, right? Because we don't want people to bounce away. We want to keep them on our site for long enough to learn about us and ultimately take some sort of action to buy something, to make an appointment, to sign up, to call us, whatever your call to action may be. The next essential page is your About page. All websites need some sort of About page. This page presents an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to your potential customers, establish credibility, and foster trust. The example here is from a website we created. A good page briefly tells what you do and why. So it's important to share succinctly the mission of your company, what products or services you offer, sometimes a little backstory on how or why it was founded, if that adds to your credibility. And then your product page, this is the page where you showcase the categories of products or services that you offer. And then we have the blog and news page, which is very important for SEO. Search engine favors websites that are active and regularly updated. A static website can look stale. Regular blog posts signal that your business is current and engaged. This can help improve your overall rankings over time. And if you're launching a brand new website, it's a good idea to have at least 3 blogs ready to publish. You can backdate them so your site looks active and established from the start. Some examples of a blog would be news, updates, specials, behind the scenes. Finally, all websites need a contact us page. Ideally, your website will meet your customers' needs and answer as many of their questions as possible, but there has to be a way for them to get in touch with a human. If you don't have contact information, your site is immediately suspicious. At minimum, you need a mailing address. If you have a brick and mortar where customers can visit, you'll also want to provide a physical address and a map and a phone number or email address where people can reach you. We also highly recommend a contact form. This is typically a plugin where you ask users to provide a bit of information so you can get back with them. If you have a very small company where customers will be interacting personally with you and your staff, think real estate or insurance agents, doctor's offices. This is also a good place to showcase a bit of information about key personnel.
Yeah, and I often get questions, why do we need a contact form? Why isn't it enough with an email address and a phone number? But you don't know what time of day, or it's the weekend when people are checking you out on the web. So and sometimes people don't know how to put the email together with the right information. So in this case here, for Moosehaven, and we're going to look more at that a little bit, they put your name in here, and then there are simple checkboxes to tell what they are interested in. So when you come back to work on Monday morning, you might have emails in your inbox, and looking at those emails, now you know exactly the information. You have their name, email address, and phone number, and you know what they're going to ask you about. So a contact form is really useful to have on your web page.
Yes. And then there are 4 questions that your homepage must answer. So that will be, what is your product or service? Who is it for? What makes you the best choice? And what should visitors do next? So we'll show you Moosehaven's homepage and how we work all of those things in. So for Moosehaven, what is your product or service? You can see right there that it's senior living, and then we have an option for what we offer. So what is your product or service? You might think it's obvious what your business is about, but even if the name of your company is Jerry's Plumbing, there are still going to be questions from potential customers. Are you a commercial plumber or residential? Are you available 24/7 or only during normal business hours? The more clearly you can tell your website visitors exactly what your business does, the more time you can spend convincing them you're the one they should work with. Rather than burying your explanation at the bottom of the homepage, make sure you can convey your message at the top when the page loads instead of needing a visitor to scroll to find out. Using photos can show what your product or service is much faster than text. Using supporting text will help drive the point home, but too much text will make viewers gloss over it, so write only a few lines. Images of your product being used by happy, satisfied customers, clients will also help answer the next question. Who is it for? Explain who your product is for can help potential customers know you're there to help them. Spend some time researching your potential customer, even talking with your best customers to find out who you should be structuring your marketing around. Customer testimonials, social proof, and reviews can be helpful to show who has used your product or service in the past. The more people that are happy with your product, the more likely visitors will think your product works. Photos of happy people using your couples who reflect your target audience can be a good place to start. And on their website, we have their senior and retirement community. And what makes you the best choice? Explain how you stand out from the competition and why customers should choose you could be the toughest part of a homepage design. Your homepage needs to predict any objection from your website visitors before they can vocalize it. If you're a third coffee shop to open up within walking distance from their apartment, your homepage has to prove yours is the best and the one that they want to visit. One way to show that you're the brand a customer can trust is by showing your experience. If you've been making customers happy and solving problems for 50 years, tell people that. If your coffee shop has live music or a unique variety of coffee beans, convey that so you can separate yourself from the competition. Here on Moose Haven's website, they have that they are 5-star and that they have been voted best nursing home by US News. And then what should visitors do next? Whether you want people to buy something online, book an appointment with you, visit your shop in person, or just talk you up to a friend, you need to tell website visitors to do something. If you're not clearly telling people what's next, they may lose interest and click the back button, or worse, head to a competitor. Call to action buttons like read more or shop now can be an easy way to drive customers to do something. Make the button stand out with contrast or bright colors and display it prominently. If you want people to send you an email or give you a call, make your contact info easy to find and make any contact form simple and quick to fill out. The faster and easier a visitor can complete what you want them to do, the more likely they are to do it. And for example, we have start here for what to do next on Moose Haven, which I think is pretty obvious. And now Katrine will discuss the different platform options for publishing your website.
So there are several different ones. The biggest and most commonly used in the world, a few years back, 43% of all websites on the internet was powered by a platform called WordPress. It's supported by 62 languages, and it's easy accessible to people around the world. WordPress is a free and what they call an open source website builder. That means that you have the maximum control over your website compared with other online website builder that we will talk about later. With WordPress, you have full ownership of your website without any third-party control, and it gives you maximum privacy. So that's why it's popular by big places like whitehouse.gov used to use it. I'm not sure anymore, and CNN and New York Times, Microsoft, and countless businesses use WordPress when they build it. And that's the platform we are using as well. With this platform, you can post and you can host it wherever you want it, and you can move it from one place to another. Then you have package websites and templates. And those are like Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, GoDaddy Builder, HubSpot Website Builder. There are lots of them where you easily go in and get your account. Very often you can get your domain name with them as well. And you go in and you can build your website, and it's yours, but it's stuck there. If you build a website with Wix, for example. It's not like you can take that and move it to your own server or to move it over to Squarespace. It's kind of a template setting, specially built with them, with all the functions it has, but you can't move it anywhere. E-commerce is often very much similar to this, but it's special platforms, and Shopify is one of those, where it's especially made for people doing e-commerce, and it's especially very, very good if you have an inventory. And the same thing with membership sites. WordPress can handle both e-commerce and membership, and some of the package templates like Weebly and Squarespace might have components. I think they started to have component for e-commerce. I don't know how much about membership. But if you are a membership organization, you should absolutely look at a platform that is specializing in that. So how do you go about to set up and start a new website? The first thing is securing your domain name. We just talked about that in the beginning, and setting up your email. Then you need to decide your website's call to action. What do you want to happen when people visit your website? Our website has actually two different things that happens. One, we want people to sign up for the webinar where you are right now. And we also want people to contact us to ask about our services, like building website, taking care of people's social media, and so on. So those are the call to action, but you might have totally different call to action. Your call to action might be to purchase something, or visit you, or find out more about a special service you have, and then fill out an online form to order and purchase it. Next thing you need to do is to create a simple Word document with the content of the 5 basic pages that Chloe just talked about. So just create one with a home page. Make sure you put all the information that Chloe talked about on the home page. Just list it up how you want to have it. And then you put down your About Us page, usually a little bit about your company, your background, the mission you have, and about you as the owner of the company. That's usually what people would like to see. Then you have one for your products or services, when blog and news, contact, and then you put a little bit extra time looking at what kind of call or actions are you going to have on the website. The idea is that you fill this with the information you are going to put on the website. So when you get to the phase that where you're going to build your website, you already have the content. So again, there are different ways to do this. A lot of our clients come to us, and we build WordPress websites for them. And that's the first thing we do, talking to the client. What is the content? What do you have? Often we don't know in detail about their industry or the content they have. They put it down. And so if they're going to give the information, I ask them to put it down. But if you decide you're going to build your own website, and you might take one of those ready templates, you're going to see that it's really good to have that to start with. So let's take a look. I went into GoDaddy to set up a website and show you how you can make your own website. So I went into GoDaddy, and they have a section called Websites and Hosting, and a website builder. They even have a free trial, so you can go in and set it up. So I clicked on that, and the next thing is, what is it going to be about? And in this case, I wanted to build a basic website. And that, what kind of website you have. So I decided I was going to do a sample page about an RV park. That was the first thing. So I put that in. Then it asks me, it goes through this funnel, helping me set up this website. What should you call your website? So I put this in here. Basic information, how people could contact me from the website. I added that, a phone number to the business and an email address. And then the next thing happens, the screen became just gray and it stood there for maybe 20 seconds. I think there was a little thing scrolling around, and this is really AI at work. Because in just 20 seconds, this screen shows up. Welcome to Florida's best RV park and take a tour. So the tour here is for me as starting building my website. So this little helper showed me that on the right-hand side, some other builders have it on the left-hand side, but it is a column that many of them use where they show you how you can go in and select the color scheme of the website, usually built around your logo. It also shows you how you can go in and add new sections, new rows, and new photos and text elements. So all of that is choose and drag into your page. And then you can also add more pages to the website. And after that, you will go in and click and publish it. One of the things that, of course, if you look at this, I'll see how much you can see of this website. So this was the website that came up. And we have a short webinar today, so I'm not going to go in and show you in detail how to do this. But of course, if this is a website for Florida, then that image is not going to work. So I also recommend that you have photos compared before you get started. Or you can use your own photos, or you can purchase photos. Sometimes some of them have a few photos that you can use without any extra fee. Sometimes they have a photo album for a few dollars you can in. But if you are doing a RV park for Florida, we can't have Grand Canyon in the background or mountains or anything. So you can go in and set this up, and then at the very end, you will go in and you can publish this. So I think that what's the next one? And it is going to take you through the steps. Do you have a domain name? If you already have a domain name and you registered that with GoDaddy, it's going to say, is this the domain name you will use? And you say yes, and it just takes it up, and then you have your website up running on your own domain. It sounds easy, and if you have the right images and if you have the text ready to start with, but it's hard. Sometimes it could be hard working with the images and get things to look really good. So it all depends on how crafty you are on your computer, but it can absolutely be done. Or you can hire someone else to do it. And Easy Marketing is a good place to go. So let's go over one more time the different steps. So start by securing your domain and set up an email. That's the first thing you need. Whatever you do next, that's the very first after registering your company that I think you should do. Then you decide the call to action for your website, and you create that Word document. And then don't continue to with anything else until you've done those things, because then you start to look for images and hire a photographer, and then you decide if you're going to do it yourself. You can always go in and try it yourself, or you hire a web designer. And if you're going to do it yourself, then you can pick any platform out there. If if you're going to hire someone, you will decide together with the web designer what is the platform that works best for you. So that's it. We have 10:27 here in Florida. So we hope that you had some useful information. You can rewatch this on YouTube. There is going to be a link in an email coming to you later this afternoon. And if you want to join us next month, we're going to talk about how social media and email marketing will work together. And that also is a 30-minute webinar. And again, here is our contact information. Thank you so much for joining us today, and don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions.